So this is how to do blush. So I've done a couple videos lately, but I haven't really touched on a pretty big topic. A couple big topics, but one of the ones I want to touch on first is how to do blush. So the first thing we're going to want to talk about when we're talking about blush is finding a shade that matches your skin tone. For me, I tend to gravitate towards like warmer colors. It doesn't matter if it's, a red or an orange. I tend to stay away from more of the neutral shades. It makes me look very pale. If you're already a pale person, you're gonna probably want to gravitate towards more warm shades. That being said, if you're someone who has a very warm skin tone, like a tan skin tone, or even a darker, brown or deep brown skin tone, you're gonna gravitate towards more of the neutral to like even some blue or purple tone blushes. So that being said, I typically end up either using like a more orange to like bright red blush, but today, since my lips are a little bit darker, I have on a much darker shade of blush. I'm actually using, this is my Too Faced in Christmas in Rome palette, and I have on this one here, which is the Cuter on a Scooter, and I think it really matches like my lip shade a little bit more. That's one thing I do want to talk about is when you're matching your blush, it's not only important to match your skin tone, but it's important to match whatever else you have on your face. So if you have, a more blue eyeshadow, you might actually consider going with a more neutral or blue tone blush compared to, a red blush. It's probably not going to look very good. Contrasting colors can be good in certain circumstances, but when you're putting that much distance between them on your face, it can look very kind of like clown makeup. I don't know how else to describe it. Some people like that look, and there are a bunch of circumstances. It's very artistic, but it's definitely not something that most people go to in their everyday use, and you're going to draw a lot of attention to yourself if you're using those kind of contrasting colors, like a blue and an orange together, or a purple and a green. Like, it's not necessarily going to go very well together. It's going to be very contrasting. Well, purple and green can go together sometimes if you place it close enough together, like on the eyes, but consult your color wheel. Anything that's across from each other on the color wheel, it's going to be very contradictory. They're actually called complementary colors, ironically, but they're very contrasting when it comes to having them spaced apart on your face. So that being said, let's move on to where we're going to be placing the blush. So actually, before we move on to placement, we're going to stop off and talk about brushes, because there's a couple of different types of blush brushes that you can use when you're doing your makeup, but they're each going to have they're going to have unique results. They're going to be able to do different things in different ways. So first off is just your traditional blush brush. It's going to be a very wide, fluffy brush. This is good for just coming on like an angle like this. So traditionally, where you want your blush is going to sit like right around here, about halfway, along your cheekbone. It's going to sit between your highlight on your the inner corner of your eye and your cheek, and it's going to sit like on top of your contour that will go like underneath your cheekbone. And together, the two of them, like when you're blending the whole thing, it kind of just gives you more rounded appearance, which is very aesthetically pleasing. So when you're talking about a traditional blush brush, it's really good at just coming in at that angle and just sitting right on top of your cheekbone and just getting you right there. You can also go up on top of your head right here. You don't want to go too far towards the eye or too far up if you're doing that, just to make sure you're only sticking like right around this corner, and you're just coming right down and following that cheekbone. And just going right along the edge of the eyebrow and then towards the cheekbone. And you can do that on both sides, obviously. Just come like this. And that's one way to do your blush. And you know, obviously that there's just come straight down like that. You can go across on either side, like under your eye and on your nose. It gives you like that kind of sunburnt, very summery. It's definitely more of like a summer look if you're gonna do that, just to be aware. But it's really cute if you can pull it off, especially if you already have more of like a rounded cheekbone, you know, structure. It looks really cute. Aside from that, you know, there are a couple of different ways that you can place your blush. It depends, a lot of it is going to depend on your particular face structure. So you can watch a million YouTube videos, but it's really about finding what works for you. And I can show you a couple of different techniques, but you know, everyone has a different face shape. If you actually look up the different types of faces, there's like, you know, circular versus oval versus, you know, heart shapes. And if you can pinpoint which type of face shape you are, it's going to give you a lot more of an insight as to what you're trying to get out of your blush. That being said, you know, for my face shape, I'm trying to kind of round out this area and kind of highlight my cheekbones and make it look more rounder. So that's why I'm coming in at the sides like that. But some people can just go like right here on the cheeks, and this will actually make your face look kind of wider. So I'm trying to narrow this down, but if you're putting blush like right in the center of your corner, and this is what I would use, so you can just get a smaller fluffy brush like this, and the main thing is that it's like a fluffy powder brush. But if you're trying to widen your face, you'd want to come in under your eye like this, and kind of just, you wouldn't want to draw it outwards as much. You'd want to focus more like towards the center, not too far towards your nose. It's like directly under and maybe a little bit outside of your pupil, but you'd really want to focus on that area. And that's going to make your face look a little bit wider as opposed to more narrowing and slimming blush look. So that has been my blush tutorial. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It took under 10 minutes, and now you know everything about blush. So I'll see you in the next one.